The battle for transparency looms large in Washington. It didn't take very long. It's the new year and already a new set of rules on Capitol Hill. This time, the House changes the rules in their favor, making it even harder for watchdogs to call them to the carpet. You've heard of the Ethics Committee, rules in place to keep politicians in check. And some of these ethics rules are the very reason that New York Congressman Michael Grimm was forced to resign from power just this week. Now the Ethics Commission is losing its foothold. The new language in the bill applies to both of the two main watchdog groups. It says that they may not take any action that would deny any person any right or protection provided under the Constitution of the United States. And if a congressman is charged or accused, they highlighted new language in the bill, essentially allowing the accused party to get a head start on covering their tracks. It really reads a lot like the Miranda rights that officers read to suspects when taking them into custody. Any politician facing investigation shall be informed of the right to be represented by counsel, and invoking that right should not be held negatively against them. Lawmakers have disputed the Ethics Commission for years because it makes all the findings open to the public. Those who serve in a public office seem to want their privacy, and it will be interesting to find out if this new Congress holds the privacy of the public in the same high regard. Speaking of ethics violations, a high-ranking Navy official pleads guilty to bribery charges. Navy Commander Jose Luis Sanchez is the most powerful man in the Navy to enter a guilty plea in a scheme like this. The case just continues to unravel, and as we're starting to learn, it reaches into the higher ups, the top officials in the U.S. Navy. Sanchez led the charge for the Navy ships covering everywhere from Russia to Australia and all the places in between. And according to court documents, Sanchez accepted bribes worth $120,000. Some of that money went to prostitutes, and the crime wasn't worth the time. He'll be doing 20 years in prison, and his story is just a small part of the bigger Navy fraud. 5 other people are also under arrest, and more could be arrested soon. It's a scheme to share classified information with a wealthy CEO in Singapore known as Fat Leonard. His company did business with several ships in that country, including the U.S. Navy fleet. According to prosecutors, CEO Leonard Francis used that confidential information to intentionally overbill the U.S. government $20 million in under 5 years. Well, these incredibly low gas prices have many American consumers jumping for joy with a few extra dollars in their pocket. But now some of that is starting to wear off as many people are starting to see troubling signs in Wall Street, and they're starting to ask some serious questions about the long-term security of the U.S. economy. And President Barack Obama says that he has the answers. He's traveling to Detroit to give his first of many speeches this week, and he's focusing on the economic agenda. His underlying theme of the financial tour: remember the progress that's been made and build on it. President Obama stopped at a Ford plant near Detroit to talk about doing even more for manufacturing. Thursday's focus in Phoenix, the American dream of owning a home. And in Friday, Obama's speech in Tennessee will highlight the rising costs of college tuition. Well, now in the congressional minority and just one day into the new session, Democrats are already crying foul. This argument revolves around what's called dynamic scoring, which factors the economic aspects of legislation when estimating its impact on the budget. Democrats call it a cover-up. They say this allows Republicans to hide the real impact of legislation, and in the process, Democrats say it will drive up the deficit. They call it the trickle-down economics, and just another name for that. A fire in a Pakistani mall left 13 people dead last week. A shopping center located in the city of Lahore caught fire due to a short-circuit shop. The fire engulfed the 3-story building, causing panic among shoppers. The mall is home to shops that sell primarily watches and clocks. No emergency exits and no firefighting equipment was installed, and witnesses say that most of the shoppers were forced to escape through a single door. Most of the victims suffocated due to the strong smoke in the building. Nuclear talks will be heating up this year. A meeting will be held on January 18th concerning Tehran's nuclear program. The U.S., China, Russia, Britain, France, and Germany will all be in attendance. A European Union leader said that the meeting will continue recent negotiations. The EU also said that they are working to make further progress. This comes only hours after Iran denied reaching any agreements with the U.S. regarding the shipment of uranium to Russia. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman said that no agreement on any nuclear topic had yet to be reached. Charges have been filed regarding last month's nut case. Heather Cho went berserk on a flight departing from its gate in South Korea. Cho was angry at the way a flight attendant served her nuts. The altercation between Cho and the attendant was so severe that the plane had to delay takeoff by 11 minutes. Now, South Korean prosecutors are charging her with violating airline security. An airline official was also arrested after he allegedly abetted perjury and was updating Cho on private information regarding the investigation. According to the Transport Ministry, airline officials were trying to cover up the incident. The ministry has accused Cho of abusing flight attendants.